Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from the
Your company name here.
studios in Cape Coral, Florida. It's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5?
Dude, did I just see you lip sync the Your Company Name Here?
I probably not. I have a wine glass in my mouth, but if I did, yeah, Your Company Name Here. That's right. If you want to sponsor this podcast and all the other podcasts on the Digital 410 network, send us an email to which one of my 30 emails? info@d-410.com. I always do the mail call because we never put an email address out on this podcast. info@d-410.com. It's very cheap. You'll be quite surprised. But anyhow, joining us live from Las Vegas, Nevada, as always, is Gordon. Gordon, how are you doing?
I am great. My day started off with a bang. Might almost have been a bang bang. There was a little bit of, remember back to this guy that I have that last 2 years has been driving an Escalade multiple times a day and parking out there at the old 7-Eleven across the street.
You mean the guy from the TV show with the guy with the vampire and things?
Yeah, DeLuise or something.
I don't know. Yeah. One of those Discovery
So
Channel
he was
guys.
over there, and I went to get myself a bang to start the day with. Pull up. Escalade's there. Windows open. Escalade's running. Music's on. Owner of vehicle is inside. Fucking classic. It is 6:12 a.m.
And I'm surprised his car has not been stolen yet up to this point.
Well, I am too, but this is so I walk in.
I said, "How do you do?"
It's got a little interesting. Say, hey man, is that your Escalade out there? Yep. And I'm trying not to be a dick, but you can't out dick what he's got going on already.
You want full blown Karen?
Well, can you really out Karen? Or can you outdo somebody who's being a douche anyway?
Yeah. I
said, hey, can you do the neighborhood a favor? You know, a lot of people live the perimeter of the store, including myself. And can you maybe kind of turn it down or turn it off when you're in the store? His response is classic. Number one, he's open carrying. I did pause for a second. I said, fuck it. Because he had his gun in one of them, my first holster canvas things you get at Bass Pro Shop.
Aww.
A little flopping around there.
That's cute.
He goes, he got a little upset. He goes, people say the same. My neighbors say the same thing when I fire up my Ferrari. It's like, Ferrari? That's funny. I think you live in one of those houses small houses over there on the backside of that apartment complex. That threw him off. Well, how do you know where I live? Dude, I live here. I walk these neighborhoods. I see where you are. You're not exactly low key.
And say, by the way, I had a system in my truck when I was 16.
That's just one of my many houses. I'm a millionaire. Now he's flexing, right?
Oh, boy. Yeah, making that big Discovery Channel money.
Oh, yeah. Well, if he's even there anymore, right?
Yeah, right.
Because, if you're going to a 7-Eleven multiple times a day.
That early in the morning?
For 2 years, one would think you're probably not got a full-time job unless you're working at night.
No, and if he's rolling deep, he would be getting up later in the afternoon and having whatever he's buying every morning on the way to his work already in his house.
I almost did something bad, but I made him know that, I'm not exactly scared of him. And I almost said, so you're a millionaire with that my first fucking holster you got on there and your beat-ass 2002 fucking Escalade outside? Come on.
What did he say to that?
I wanted to say that. I actually stopped. I didn't want to escalate it, but I went up to the register after he left. I kind of picked up my shirt a little, get my wallet, let him know that, whatever. And he promptly left. And then as I'm walking out, lady who was playing a slot machine, also black lady, said, I'm surprised nobody's stolen his truck yet. And we start talking, and I just realized, that right there is a perfect case of unbridled narcissism.
Well, it's not. And not like that. It's not like, oh, look at the old white guy, upset. It's like, no, I had the same shit in my car, but I was 20.
Yeah, our generation invented that shit.
Yeah, right. Well, yours did. Mine was right there at the MP3 player. Speaking of which, I got a short.
You're the same generation, bud.
I'm still slightly younger, but I got a short my headphone thing, so my headphones keep.
So yeah, that's how I finally had a confrontation with the guy.
Good for you.
But he's probably like, he knows where I live. I'm walking around and you driving down the street. You don't exactly, I know the neighborhood, so I pretty much got an idea that your 1,500 square foot house, you're not a multimillionaire.
Is that supposed to, I mean, you're in Vegas. It's not like you're in like Tennessee, some small town with like, the graduating class this year's 38 people. I mean, is that supposed to be someone throwing around that they're a millionaire in Las Vegas? Is that really supposed to be impressive?
No,
especially
but it is
nowadays
what you and I would
inflation,
call a phony.
I mean, somebody who owns a small business with $1 million in inventory can say that they're a millionaire. It doesn't mean anything.
Does a millionaire really mean anything?
Not nowadays, no.
It takes $1 million to raise a kid.
Yeah, right? Or send them to college. We're both. Oh, this sucks so bad. I got to replace this stupid line.
So, that's how my day started off. With a bang. Drank my bang on the way to work. And I thought, I know the chick behind the register got very uncomfortable very quick. And just kind of shushed me along. I said, no, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm hearing it for 2 years.
She was like, this motherfucker's going to give me a shot.
So, But yeah, he had his cute little, and I'm looking, I'm like, if this dude even tries to draw, he's got to unstrap that motherfucker first. He probably doesn't even have one in the chamber. Hello? He'd be losing, I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's not.
But he promptly got up and left.
Maybe it's
I should ask Katina if she's heard the booming the rest of the day.
Probably not. Yeah. The deciding factor is whether or not he does it tomorrow.
What did he say? Oh, he said, yeah, well, I know there's a noise ordinance, but I run Metro. This dude's fucking a phony.
That's fucking hilarious.
So I looked him up on YouTube or on online, and it said that he considers himself the Buddha of body work, and he's the level-headed one at the shop that keeps things calm.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, yeah, you got old-ass fat white guy coming in, hey, kid, knock it off. So I was like, dude, just think about your neighbors. And he acted like that was such a hard fucking thing to deal with. Like, how dare you even say that? Thus the Ferrari comment, which I wanted to say, you know what? Borrowing a car from your employer doesn't count.
I was going to say the same thing. Just because you took one of Danny's cars out the wash doesn't mean you're a millionaire.
You go get his coffee while you're at it?
Yeah, right.
So,
Even if I had money, I don't think I would buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini.
Why would you?
Like that. Like, they're supercars.
They're supercars, yes. My boss has a super. I know people who's got them. They're just not practical.
I'd have a nice car, and I'd have a nice truck, and that's it.
If this dude was a millionaire, he'd be bumping around like he's driving a Range Rover.
Yeah,
expanding the rhymes.
Now, what's worse? Would you? Well, I mean, it could be worse. You could be stuck with a 2012 Tesla. Ooh. Have you been reading the stories on those?
2012, there wasn't really many Teslas in 2012. They're the first, right after is it the Roadster or right after the Roadster?
I don't know exactly what model it is. You can quickly look it up by typing in Tesla battery flooded. Basically, on these early models, they put and you'll love this, Mike, the
condenser,
not
coil?
The condenser, the tray, the condensation tray. They put the AC condensation tray release valve, if you will, or the drip hose right above the
blow off
battery tank. So that underneath they have the battery tray, which kind of looks like a big ass gas tank. Well, on top of that sealed battery tray,
like a bunch of double A's stacked together. By the way, it's kind of funny.
On top of that sealed battery tray, much like you would see a fuel pump in a fuel cell, there's a compartment door, and it has like a bridge rectifier relay, something that has to do with the primarily controlling that. It may even be the brain for that battery pack. Well, the fucking condensation tray has been leaking on those, and so people are buying like 2013, 2014s, maybe 2012
basically first
Teslas,
generation, first run Teslas.
and they're buying them for like 15, 16 grand, but then a month later they're getting these error codes that their battery's been flooded as if they drove through a deep puddle, and they got to pay $25,000 to replace the damn part. And people are like, what the fuck? And it's more and more people reporting this as an issue, and it's all because where they put the damn condensation hose for the AC unit.
This is what happens when you have
no exhaust pipe.
Tech geeks kind of designed in the car.
Well, isn't that where an internal combustion engine drains theirs is through the exhaust pipe? You see water dripping out people's exhaust pipe all the time.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
That's just condensation. That's just normal engine condensation, heat, whatever. I did see my first. We went to walk the dog yesterday. I did see my first
Morgan Long?
electric Hummer at a parking.
Only audio from Don. No audio from Gordon.
The crab walker.
Hold on a second.
The crab walker. Stand by. We have a technical.
No, I need you guys to keep talking.
Okay. Yes, the crab
blah,
walker.
blah,
So
blah.
I saw that. Somebody bought one near here. Let's see. I'm still on the fence about if they only called it the Fusion like they should. The Mustang Mach-E. There was one next to me today, and I was looking at it. I was like, if they called it something else. The style for an electric car is actually pretty cool. The fact that it doesn't have regular door handles, it's got this little bracket that kind of sticks out below the window, and you just kind of push a button, you open it. First company to really pull off that clean look, but it just why did they throw the Mustang logo on it? To me, the Fusion would have been the way to go, or something like that.
The same reason that parking lot clear is called a Blazer. That thing's not blazing any goddamn trails. That thing is horrible.
That thing's blazing its way to the grocery store and back. It actually looks like a Toyota.
And we're back
It
online,
does.
and you guys have audio. There was no audio at the
Sweet.
beginning of the show till now. Thanks, Morgan Long, for making that legible so I could determine what.
God, they missed my story. Oh well, gonna have to get on to the downloadable version.
Yep. Here,
For
Gordon
how Gordon's day started at the beginning
he
of
admitted
the
his most
deal.
deepest, darkest sins. He just relayed it to everybody, and you guys at home.
Now, I will say this: there's something I haven't brought it up yet. There's something I've been health wise doing, and
Getting
it's
your
all
third
under.
nipple removed.
Dude, seriously.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell the whole world or anything, Don. Yeah, well, I've gone down almost like the Joe Rogan and older male path of TRT. Anybody?
Testosterone replacement therapy.
Don, you are the winner. Yes.
What do I win?
You win a smart-ass comment later in the show. So I've been doing it for over a month now.
Man, this podcast has shitty prizes.
It's a lot of shitty prizes. One of the things I have noticed is my anxiety and fear level has gone to an all-time low.
Motherfucker, I ain't scared of shit.
Thus, that confrontation I had this morning.
Thus, why I got in a fight with the guy from Discovery Channel.
It wasn't a fight. It was just a knock your shit off type move.
Did you look on his TikTok to see if he recorded you and posted you as like a Darren?
He didn't record shit. He was at the register paying. And there was nobody else in the store.
Was he tapping to pay or was he pulling out his debit card?
I think he was trying to mac on the chick behind the register.
As millionaires tend to do when they're just random shopping every morning at 7 a.m. on the way to their
at a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Yep. So
making that
you
big
gotta keep
Discovery
it real.
Channel money.
But yeah. So I've lost 10 pounds since I started.
Nice.
Hitting the gym 4 days a week. I did 3 days last week because what I do is I go on Monday or Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I get my treatment on Thursday night, so I've definitely got to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because I'm trying to get the best benefit out of it. The Samsung watch has got a cool feature. It does your BMI, tells you your skeletal muscle mass.
I still can't believe we're going by that.
Your fat. Well, no, it breaks it down, though. It actually breaks it down to like skeletal muscle mass, fat, and water. One of the reasons I like it is because TRT can put the fucking water weight on you, and if there is a reason for me to get to the gym, I don't need to blow up like the State Puff Marshmallow Man, and I want to get the benefits. So far it's good. Mental acuity going through the roof because I was one foggy motherfucker for a while, and it's all doctor controlled.
Nice.
Because you could say he's on the juice.
He's on the juice.
I just got my blood work back, and it tells me that my testosterone is low. I'm wondering if that's why I gained so much weight.
The first one of you to tell me you just got a white box in mail, you're going to mail some shit off. I'm out of here.
Too late.
I love that commercial because it's got that little blue, purple square guy, the little mask guy. Oh, we'll send you a non-discrete box. Yeah, non-discrete.
Wait, you talking about the Cologuard commercial?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I already did that this year.
They're talking about...
You're 45, Don? When you turn 45, the FDA has now pushed your testing date down to 45 from 50.
Well, I just think it's funny because on the commercials, like, we'll send
It's either that or get the camera up my rectum.
We'll send you this very discreet box. And
not yet.
I've been at the UPS store getting things, and someone's come in with that.
Ain't nothing discreet about that big logo on there.
It's got the big fucking logo on it. There's nothing discreet about it.
Might as well put a dildo on it and fucking move on.
It's a white box with a big purple and blue logo. Just
like Adam and Eve saying they got a discreet packaging, and it shows up, and it's just a toy as a fucking symbol.
Oh, this sucks. My headphones are all fucked up.
Don is fidgeting today. Are you clicking in and out?
No, it's my output on my headphones, and so like it's got a short in it. Sometimes I can hear you guys and not me, and then like right now I don't hear anything. So it's kind of like.
What if you switch back to the bowling shoe?
Well, I tried putting the other ones on, and they're doing the same. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it just makes the show hard. But anyhow,
so how are you, Mike?
I've been wondering because I haven't got my intro yet.
There you go. It was a long segue in.
And joining us from across the river is
across the country. This one was
no use for a last name, Mike. How you doing, fella?
Wonderful. God, my day started off like shit.
Must be in the air. Mine. Well, my whole week's been like shit.
I mean, I was taking my son to school this morning, and I was in the old lady's car, and
they love it when you call them that. By the way,
yeah,
old lady.
Right?
Hey, Katina, you like it when I call you old lady? Thanks.
Actually, it's the old lady.
The old lady.
Right.
And it's old, not old. Old.
It's like the old pub, but you just take pub out and put lady.
You got it.
But the car, it's not doing so hot.
No.
It's the top end is starting to knock, and just one of those things. I mean, the car is paid off, so it's.
Well, that's why
like,
we live in.
It's it's a 2004 Maxima.
We live in a lease. We lease our cars and our phones.
Yeah, and it was like I didn't even know if I was going to make it home when I dropped my son off from school. Like that's how bad it started getting. So that was my morning, and then my day, for work and everything. I mean, it's work. It is what it is. But so now we're shopping around for cars.
What's up, John Kraft? OG5.
Awesome.
What's a buyer's market?
Yeah, car shopping these days is a fucking nightmare because a used car costs as much as a new car cost 2 years ago.
Right.
And then
so what you got to do is you got to get on your local Kia dealer, and then you buy that used.
Well, the problem is a Kia.
You're not letting me finish. You go down to the used Kia dealer where the guy who had the Tacoma or the Tundra or the Maxima, he couldn't afford those payments, so he had to trade it in and get a Kia for a lower rate, and then they're selling his car used. You might be able to pick it up there for a good price.
Yeah, probably pick it up for the same price as new, though. That's
the funny thing is they would always put those out because they knew they're nicer cars. Like when Billy Faccia was down here buying everything up in 2008 and it was broke, you'd drive down there and be all the nice Escalades, F-150, F-250, Alt Raptors, all these nice cars that people had to trade in for fucking Kias, and they just put them all out front so you can see everyone. Oh, wow, they got a Raptor over there.
And rumor has it, the word is that all these people who bought, as we've discussed before, bought these cars with their stimulus money will be losing them soon, to the point where like the tow companies are afraid they're not going to be able to keep up.
Wow. So their lease is up? Or the stimulus money is running out and people are going to default?
No, they bought it, and then now with the inflation going up, they people will get money and like, I can go get this, even though they really haven't gamed this thing out a while. Emotional spending, and then they get it, and then they like.
If $1,000 check in the mail is considered a windfall in your life, you gotta fucking take a look in the mirror.
If you're 18 years old, would that have been a windfall?
Well, at 18, you're still in a home, so yeah, it's just it wasn't. That's not even a windfall. That's a fucking PS6 and a controller.
You know what stimulus checks bought us outright? Phones. Yep. I don't lease my phone.
I was telling Carrie, I said, that TV that died out in the garage a couple of months ago we've had for years and years and years? She's like, yeah. I was like, you remember where we got that? She's like, no. 32-inch. This is how expensive it was back in the day. I said, we bought that with our George Bush stimulus check. Remember when Bush cut the the stimulus checks.
$600 check or something?
Yeah, that's where we got our TV at. And at the time, that's right. It used to cost fucking $600 for a 32-inch goddamn LCD TV.
And you're talking about the deep ones, right?
No, just the early model LCD flat screens, not the CRTs. Like just the.
Well, I still remember when those flat screen CRTs first came out, and I bought one, and it was expensive as
Sony
shit.
Trinitron.
It was a Toshiba.
Those were the flat screens, but they were CRTs. This thing's weighed like 250 pounds.
Yeah, they're nonsense.
The key to lifting old monitors and TVs that are CRT is you put the screen towards your chest because that's the heaviest part. If the screen's facing away from you, it's going to cause you to lean forward. So not that anybody has CRT, but if you're emptying out your grandpa's garage in 5 years and he's got an old 25-inch computer monitor in there, put the screen towards your chest. Your back will thank you.
I think I did that when somebody thought that was their TV, and it was actually mine from graduation. I kind of gave a good shove.
Yeah. Ashtrays flying. For a while, I thought on Facebook and Instagram, all these memes about it having ADD and ADHD and people having OCD and LMNOP. It was just kind of
it's kind of everybody, right?
A fad. Well, that's my question. See, we're old and jaded where we remember a handful of cats in high school being on it. I actually took someone's Ritalin in high school because I didn't need it, and because I closed at Wendy's every night, it had the opposite effect, and it was more like a speed for me. So I would take someone's Ritalin in the morning to get me through the day so I can go back to work.
Much,
So
proof was in the pudding for you that you didn't have it.
So it was a rarity as far as, but now it seems like is everybody really on it nowadays, or is it just one of those cool things to say, like girls would say they were bisexual in the 90s?
I don't know, because sometimes I think I slip through the cracks. I was talking to Mom about it, but just the things that I went through, and she said he's climbing up curtains, you can't pay attention in school. They literally put me in a school with no windows so I could pay attention. But what they did not realize is the classrooms were separated by chalkboard, so you could see the legs of the chicks underneath in the other room, and you're just staring at that.
There you go.
You know, unless I found something to really get my focus, like dinosaurs and planets. You know,
I like
otherwise
dinosaurs.
I was just fucking. Otherwise, I was just drawing at my desk the whole time. Dance monkey. That's the problem. They needed to do a little more dancing up there. Entertain me.
I guess the question is, though, is if more and more people and or kids are on this shit, I guess the chicken or the egg question is A, which came, I mean, did we always have it and we're just underdiagnosed, or something so dramatic going on in the last 23 years that more and more people are on it now because they need it?
It could be a lot of bad diagnosis.
Yeah.
A lot of false diagnosis. Speaking of chicken or egg, I've got an answer for you.
You ate the chicken and then you ate his leg?
No, I think the egg came first because it was just a progress from a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, it was something else. And then as it slowly mutated.
Birds are fucking dinosaurs.
Yes, they are. Did you see so I watched the newer, that latest iteration of Jurassic Park. Where they try to do the corrective. Actually, because we bled them with an iguana, they looked more like a lizard. In reality, we got more.
Was it the one which it was like Taken, but with dinosaurs? The one I told you guys about?
It's the new one you took Nugget to.
Yeah, it's like Taken, but with instead of his daughter getting kidnapped, the other girl's daughter gets kidnapped, and while they're going through the third world countries, instead of having dog fights, it's dinosaur fights and black market dinosaur trades.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You said Taken. I didn't think movie. I thought literally a verb.
No.
So it took me a second.
I have a special set of skills, and I'm going to use them on you because I'm 73. That Taken.
Okay, gotcha.
What'd you think of it overall?
Just as predictable as all the others.
See, I had only seen the first two, and whoever's smacking their desk with a pen want to knock that shit off. I told you, I know what it is. It's like we could play
it's
What's
not a
That
pen.
Sound?
You are incorrect, sir.
Well, it's still hitting your paper with it.
It's not even paper. It's hitting a wooden desk.
I actually liked it better because Sarah's like, I want to get a movie. What do you want to see? I want to see Jurassic Park. Fuck. I hadn't seen any of the other ones.
Top Gun. I
hadn't seen any of the other ones.
Yet.
And so I'm expecting like a remake or part 2 or part 3 from the part 1 and 2 from when I was a kid. And so the fact that it really wasn't a dinosaur movie per se, it actually made it more enjoyable as somebody who had no intention of seeing a Jurassic Park franchise. So I actually liked the format and how they did it. Did you notice what I said about it though?
Being like taken with dinosaurs?
No, where at some point during the franchise creation, they decided it was bad optics to use rifles on dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
And so in that movie, all the guys who have who have guns, they happily shoot each other. And then you'll see dinosaurs ripping people in half as they're running through the city square, and the markets are just eating people off the side of the street, just fucking disemboweling them. But the humans only use tasers and tranquilizer darts on the dinosaurs, but they'll happily shoot each other. They'll happily shoot all the other humans. But for whatever reason in this movie, no one uses a fire, and they all have them. No one even so much as points a fucking rifle at a goddamn dinosaur in that movie.
I'm going to send you oops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I fucked up.
I'm
going to send you a video. You just reminded me of something. You know who Heather Lynn is?
No.
From Black Rifle, the crazy Kentucky chick.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm going to send you a video.
Crazy Kentucky chick. Like you could just said crazy. You could have just said the Kentucky chick.
She refers
crazy
to her as the
Kentucky
devil hillbilly or something.
Hand in hands.
Talking about dinosaurs and not using guns.
Mm-hmm.
She had just had a video go out where she's in Florida with another people, and they're using air rifles on iguanas.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've talked about that.
I thought it was interesting, and they stacked up like 14 of them that day.
We've talked about that. I've been out on the water and had pellets fly over my head, to which I have to say, hey, please don't put a hole in my boat. Shoot all the iguanas you want.
I'm actually surprised you won't get in on that, because that sounds like that would be a good time.
Yeah, but I kind of like lizards. I have no quarrels with them. And I understand invasive species and all that. I have no problems with other people.
I didn't realize they fucked up the seawalls.
Oh yeah, they destroy the seawalls. I have no problems. My buddy Zach, he actually discovered you have to actually use a varmint grade pellet. Regular pellets and or BBs will simply bounce off of them. And so what he does, he shoots them because his canal's close to the Loose and Snatchy River. And so he just shoots them, and
doesn't sound like a fun river.
He just shoots them.
Maybe it's a real fun river. Depends on the type of dude
real fun. He shoots them and kicks them in the canals for the blue crabs to eat. But there are people.
Loose and Snatchy and blue crabs now too. What else we got?
There are people. Actually, my buddy Eric, who went to high school with me, lives up in Port Charlotte. His neighbor was telling him they're good eating, and he's like,
That's what they're talking about on that.
He's like, somebody he actually served in the Army, and he was a tanker. He was overseas and all that stuff, and so he's like, yeah, and his wife served too. He's like, he's like, so yeah, I shot 2 of them, gave them my neighbor. I said, did your neighbor clean them? No, my wife did. And then gave them to the neighbor. It's like, damn, your old lady will fucking clean lizards? Oh yeah, she don't give a shit because they're out catching fishing all the time, and I guess they eat a lot of fish, so it was by nothing for her to clean 2 iguanas and then give them to the neighbor to cook them up, but.
Well, the guy leading them on the hunt is definitely what I would consider the epitome of a Florida cracker. What was interesting is the air rifles, had the stylized look almost like an AR minus the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So I could just see some weird random guy from a blue state up north freaking out when they see people going up and down the canals.
Well, sadly, he doesn't have to freak out over a guy with a pellet gun that looks like an AR, because you have those dipshits. Hey, man, and I saw a video the other day, and I meant to send it to you, Mike. It's some dickhead, some dumb fuck, sitting on a beach in fucking Miami or somewhere with his fucking AR slung across his chest. And Florida Fish and Wildlife's talking to him, hey, man, it's the state of Florida. I have a right to open carry when I'm going fishing. You don't carry an AR-15, you douchebag. You're just wanting to piss people off. And it's assholes like that who mess it up for everything.
Those are the problems.
Hey, man, I can carry as long as... Yeah, dickhead. People don't I keep a fishing pole in my car, so I don't have to get concealed carry permit. So if I get pulled over, I just say I'm going fishing, coming from fishing, currently fishing. I'm just fishing in the front seat of my car. Oh, I hate those fucking people. They're the same people who go fishing without a fucking $19 fishing license. He gave me a $300
I pull up my El Camino to the bank of this here.
Dude, they're not even El Caminos. They're just fucking even like rich, not me. And then they get mad. I got a $300 ticket for what? Not having a fishing license. Well, you know you didn't have one, dickhead.
Didn't you just brag that you're a multimillionaire?
Right? Well, I'm on vacation from Vegas. I build TV. Sometimes I can be seen in the background on a car building show on the Discovery Channel before the producers messed it up like they did with all the other channels that had to do with the same people.
I always end up on the cutting room floor. I don't know what is going on. Yeah.
You just went over two different things that I could have segued, and so I'm trying to figure out which way I want to segue.
I am throwing down the gauntlet today.
So, do we want to segue from iguanas to alligators?
Okay, that makes sense.
Or mid 90s bad television for 1978 locally good television.
Let's do iguanas to alligators first.
Okay, then. Where did it put? Oh, here we go. Oh.
Now, do I have to answer this as a question?
Got up, came out and looked, and there was an alligator with a dog in its mouth.
The pictures are so graphic we had to blur them. A Cape Coral family saw an alligator with a dog in its mouth in the canal behind their home. Within an hour, that same gator was spotted eating a cat.
Only NBC2's Gage Goulding was there when trappers taped that gator's mouth shut.
Alligators and pets.
Two things that mix as well as oil and water. While this gator calls this canal along Northeast 8th Place his home, there's never been a problem like on Wednesday.
It was a dog yelp and then a splash, followed by a couple of more splashes.
Curious as could be, they walked outside to the dock, where their jaws hit the deck.
And there was an alligator with a dog in its mouth.
It was a white and black dog. We definitely have a white and black dog.
It wasn't one of their pets, but it has been a little quieter along the canal.
You think somebody's dog is missing?
Yeah, I think somebody's dog is definitely missing.
Yeah, there's someone's dog missing.
And no more than an hour later,
we're sitting in the lanai and hear another splash. So we jump up and come out and look.
This time it's a cat, one that used to roam the empty lots next to their house. Now just an appetizer for this alligator.
It backed into a storm drain connected to our canal.
We tried to find the gator, looking in the storm pipe and along the water, but came up with nothing.
Gator's gotta go.
Gator gotta go.
They say Gator gotta go, and now, well, Gator is gonna go. Within a matter of seconds, these trappers, well, they wrangled this 7'8" gator right out of the canal.
It took just one cast of the rod for Florida Fish and Wildlife trappers to reel this big guy in. While the gator certainly wasn't happy, they weren't too thrilled either.
This gator's been fed. Do you see how this part here is narrow? And you see how it bulges in? That's all fat. That's all from being fed.
It could be the reason why they caught it so quick, and maybe the reason why two pets are gone.
Do you think this could have eaten a dog?
Absolutely.
We might never know the actual answer, and to this family, that's okay.
For it to be coming after dogs and animals, what's stopping it from coming after us?
So Gator had to go, and they're glad it's gone. Now, if they could only trap one other pest, the person feeding these gators, because you gotta go too. Reporting in Cape Coral, Gage Goulding, NBC2.
Guess where that was, Mike?
Gator bait.
Guess which lake that was off of, Mike?
I bet that's Wally Gator, right?
Is it Zurich?
That was fucking Lake Zurich.
Is that the gator you think that was hanging out with you guys?
He wasn't that big back in the day, but I'm looking at Google Maps. That is if you paddle up the Lake Zurich, go down past Four Corners, and go through Tilapia Town, and it's right there, the canal down on the right. So it's the second canal down on the right.
You may have seen that gator.
I may have been bitching about that alligator on this podcast because I said that the last thing you want is people feeding alligators, and then they see people as food sources, and they're not scared of us.
Did you figure out the property?
I know exactly who's fucking doing it, who did it. Now, I don't know if it's the same alligator, but I know exactly because we've seen them out there. And one time on my TikTok live, I was fishing off the seawall where they feed the fish. And she says, "Watch out, there's an alligator out there." I said, "I know, I've seen you feed it." To which she mumbled something and walked off. But that's
you may have found the gator gotta go gator feeder.
Well, and as Mike and I've said before, especially kayak fishing, there is many a times, believe it or not, I'll let you know a little secret. Most anglers care about the fish.
Oh my goodness.
And so when they have a fish that has a hard to get out hook, we have to put them back in the water and hold them with our hands and move them back and forth to keep the fuckers alive until we get the hook out. The last thing we want is an alligator that sees people as fucking a food source and come and bite my goddamn hand off because I'm dumb enough to care about a fucking fish. And that's my biggest concern.
Well, and you know what kills me is that these people are like, "Oh, we couldn't believe that an alligator would have ate that dog."
It's a fucking dinosaur.
It's a fucking alligator for one, and number two, why the fuck is the dog loose?
I thought dinosaurs were birds.
Well, not to get into the fishing TikTok rule, but Carrie and I were out on a BMX boat. Both of us TikTok, and I see out of my peripheral vision a white flash. I hear a kasplash. And this is when it hadn't rained all summer. And all of BMX was like 1.5 feet deep. And I look, and it's a fucking... And I think the video... No, I never posted the video because I didn't get good footage of it, I don't think. Basically, these people had their damn dog out on the backyard, and its leash was so long that it fell over the seawall, and it couldn't get back up. So I had to... Luckily, we saw... Well, he'd have been out there all goddamn night.
Damn it, Wanda. I told you to shorten that leash.
Paddled over there, climbed up the seawall, went around, knocked on the guy's door. He finally opened the door. Huh? Oh, he thought it was the funniest shit. And so him and his kids are out there trying to get this fucking dog up the seawall.
Dog went too far.
And so when they finally got it up off its leash, the damn thing ran over to me. I was like, help! Get me the fuck out of here. But sadly, yeah, there's people who keep their dog on a backyard. The rope's longer than the fucking yard. The damn dog fell off the seawall and was stuck underneath the dock. Just standing in the coral, getting his feet all cut up.
And the sad part is that the people are going to sit there and blame the dog and say, "Oh, the dog should have jumped into the canal or something like that." You shouldn't
keep your dog outside, Dick. Bring him in.
Let me show you something with this rope. Let's feed this rope out. Okay, here's the edge of the property. Let's walk it back about 5 feet, 6 feet. This is as far as he goes.
You ever seen that movie? You ever seen that movie Lake Placid?
Yeah,
yes.
Betty White.
Exactly what I think of as you're talking about this kind of story.
Well, I was
Betty White's out there feeding the gator.
I was going to say, when it comes to running your dog's leash length, this is clearly a household that never grew up with Foghorn Leghorn or Tom and Jerry.
Why I say, boy?
Because every episode of Tom and Jerry, they outran Bruno, the dog, who's on the rope, toink, and then they outran the cat, toink. So, and they always knew the perimeter and then smack.
And then Jerry's uncle would show up and use Tom Twister as a fucking banjo string.
She did right. Twink! Here, kitty.
That's back when the maid actually had a maid,
yep.
A stereotypical racist maid voice.
Yep, the Thomas thing.
Thomas!
This is another good segue back to the previous segue I was going to take, but we took the other segue instead. So, cartoons, comfort TV.
By the way, this episode is not brought to you by Segway.
No, nor would it be. But
that'll be the one that Don turns down.
You guys, don't answer yet. I don't want you to have time to think about it. I don't want you to just randomly throw something off the top of your head because you've watched like 8 seasons in the last 3 weeks. Do you have a comfort television show and or movie that you watch from time to time just to go back to better times, or maybe it puts a warm feeling in your cockles?
I have a lot of them.
Before you answer, I'll just give you a little hint on mine.
Well, hold on.
Baby, if you never wondered whatever became of
WKRP in Cincinnati.
And what was the real station's name that was AM?
WKRC in Cincinnati.
Got it.
You know why they chose WKRP?
School with some old WKRC DJs as my teacher, as you see that I spent that money well.
You know what? You know why they chose the call letters WKRP for the show?
No.
It basically spells crap because the radio station was so bad.
Oh.
But I watch that show for multiple reasons.
Kind of a double entendre.
Triple reasons I watch the show. One, it's fantastically written, and you can see a lot of the episodes on YouTube. I suggest you go back and watch it. Great. The writing's excellent. Since I've worked in radio for 6 years, I get what's going on in their environment. It makes it even funnier. Apparently, back in the day, it was cited and awarded and beloved by people who worked in radio because the people who wrote it worked in radio. That's how the show came to be.
That was back in the days where it was all cocaine and payola, right?
1978.
Hey, the year of
my birth. And so, for those of you in the listening audience, Gordon and I were born in Covington, Kentucky, which is on the other side of the river from Cincinnati. And not only do I... And so...
We're not from Covington, Kentucky?
No, we're born there. Yes, we're from Richwood. And then later on, not too much later on, but a handful of years later, not enough that a metropolitan area would change very much, My parents got divorced and moved, and every other weekend we would travel down to my mom's, which included a ride through downtown Cincinnati. And so when I watch that show and the theme song comes on, they have footage of 1978 Cincinnati, and it is exactly what it looked like when we were kids. And there's shots where they're driving down over the bridge and underneath it, from within the car, and it's
the double-decker bridge, the West Spence Bridge, I think it's called.
They show the stadium, the old Riverfront Stadium. It's like I'm driving to Mom's house again. And then it's kind of cool to think, well, not only is that there, but 1978, when it's out, our parents were like in their fucking 20s and 30s, they were in their mid 30s that time. 20s. And so when you're watching your show, you're thinking, hypothetically, in that time, they could be broadcasting to our family. Yes, Mike, your hands up in the back.
What are you talking about?
Oh, WKRP in Cincinnati. It's a radio show. It's a TV show about a bad AM radio station.
I do, actually. Yes.
Okay.
Based out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
And it's just great comedic writing, but it's about a really bad, shitty radio station and all the dumb promos they would try to do, and the jocks and format change, all that radio stuff. But it takes place,
nostalgia and skylines and reminding.
It takes place in Cincinnati, and so when I say comfort TV, once again, like I said, the intro reminds me of driving through Cincinnati as a kid. And then the whole kind of just fantasy thing. Oh, that's kind of cool to think that if that was a real radio station and that shit was going on, my family was all there and Carrie's family is all living at that time in that area. So, obviously if you live in LA, Chicago, New York, there's a lot of TV shows you can relate to like that. But for people like in the Midwest, those are few and far between. And it's a damn good show. Go check out WKRP in Cincinnati on YouTube. You'll be happy you did. And you know what's funny? I thought I was watching.
So you're saying it holds up?
It more than holds up. But you know what's funny? We were talking a few weeks ago about how these young cats they got their mullets and their pit viper sunglasses, and some of the older children's, in their late 20s now, they're kind of going more with that 70s or 80s vibe again. The girls are getting the bigger glasses, and some of them are going with the feathered hair. I'm watching a scene, and Johnny Fever's in the radio studio with Bailey, and I'm watching this on my phone, and I'm like, we've come full circle. If you'd have watched this show 10 years ago, you're like, damn, those clothes are so dated. Look, that's 1978. But now it's like, oh, dudes are wearing that mustache. They got that same haircut now, and the girls are wearing the big glasses and the feathered hair. We've come full circle to where, from a distance, if you're just looking at some of the clothes, you can't tell an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati filmed in 1979 versus some of the cats walking around in 2022.
Excellent. So, Mike, you got a comfort show?
I actually don't have a comfort show. I mean,
a nostalgia show.
I have nostalgic movies and stuff like that, but I have a bunch of them, because I watch different stuff throughout my life. But I mean,
it's not going to be like something from 2002, is it?
No, I wouldn't say 2002.
Silent Bob and Jay Strikes Back.
I'd say
4.
Geely.
I'd say my comfort movies.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone
would probably be like Casino.
Oh, there you go. Good, solid flick.
And Goodfellas and stuff like that.
I've never done the math, but a guy I know who used to do data recovery that I worked with claims that his uncle, I think, screen wrote that.
Really?
Yeah, I never looked it up to confirm it, but that was
never
always
vetted it out, did
his
you?
claim. But he has no reason to lie about it. I mean, of all things to choose. But yeah. That's
but
a good
even other stuff like Twister with Bill Paxton, that's a good one that I like to watch. Takes me back to my childhood. So,
but see, at least the movie of your childhood stands up, whereas mine, Goonies, doesn't stand up. Goonies, like God, I would like that shit, but that was the show of the movie of my age, of 12-year-old boys. I mean, that was right there for us. I mean, you had the one kid who invented all the crazy shit. It's like, oh, you wanted to be that kid. Like, yeah, I'm 10. I can make a boxing glove come out of my belt and punch somebody in the face. Sure. In your room, tearing up your toys and getting springs and trying to make shit pop out of things. What about you, Gordon? What's your...
So I don't really have anything that I have a go-to. But if it's on, because it may be a toss-up between maybe an Iron Eagle or MASH.
Iron Eagle. Chappie!
Yep.
Or make up some time. Puts on his headphones, turns up the music. Yep. Iron Eagle was the poor man's Top Gun.
Yes, it was.
It was it was Top Gun for kids.
Was my favorite aircraft. So
it's one of those. The 16-year-old boy becomes the hero, much like Toy Soldier. Remember that movie where the all-boys school gets taken over by the terrorist group and the kids.
And
get
The Last
guns.
Starfighter is a good, solid one too.
And that's the one with the weird alien.
That was the one with Lou Gossett Jr. as the alien. Yes. Because Lou Gossett Jr. used to do a lot of scuba diving. He used that technique for his sounds and his breathing.
That's when he did Enemy Mind.
Enemy Mind. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm thinking of is Enemy Mind. I'm getting them all whacked.
Yep. The Last Starfighter. That was the kid movie with the thing and the stuff. But
it's actually Enemy Mind. That was such a good flick. But normally I'm still trying to catch up on everything on our streaming services that I don't even have a chance to go down that route.
Waste of money, man. You consolidate, I tell you.
Well, and what's funny about my answers though is that those movies would even like the Godfather trilogy, stuff like that, all came out before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
But that still takes me back to because I used to sit there and watch that stuff with my father. You know, he'd turn it on, have a few beers, and I'd be sitting there watching all this violence and stuff go on and people shooting people and stuff. That was cool.
So you said you like Goodfellas, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do an Animaniacs trivia. I think it was Animaniacs. Anything about the pigeons on Animaniacs that seemed familiar?
Talking about the Good Feathers?
The Good Feathers, yes.
Yeah.
Did you watch Animaniacs growing up?
A little bit, yeah.
Zany to the max.
Well, they're back and they're on Hulu.
Yep. I did hear that.
So, hello, nurse.
But see, the thing is what made the original Animaniacs so funny is because some of the people involved, they just had that male toxic masculinity humor to it. Like the episode of Pinky and the Brain where Brain is on Johnny Carson with Dolly Parton and she said something along the lines of, what do you say to that? And which Brain said, I'd say puberty is very good to you. That's in a daytime cartoon.
Have you tried watching a new Animaniacs, Don?
No, I don't have Hulu.
Well, I tell you, it's still in the same vein. I did not realize it was Steven Spielberg to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, and it's his name still attached to it. But speaking of watching things, watched Joe Coy's special over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
To which I tasked Don to do the same
thing. Are you familiar with Joe Coy,
discuss
Mike?
it on this here episode.
Is it a new one or an old one?
It is brand new, 2022.
Are you familiar with Joe Coy?
Yes.
Okay,
He used to have a restaurant out here, but I think it closed.
To give the viewers a little background, because I haven't talked to Gordon about this, but the opinions expressed on part of the What's in Your Head podcast are based on the fact that Gordon and Don are both familiar with Joe Coy going back about 8.5 years. And so we've been around since the beginning. We listened when he launched his podcast and all that stuff, and to see him blow up now. So if anything seems a little offset as far as opinion or confusing, it's maybe because we've just been a fan of his for so long. Gordon, go ahead.
So I laughed my ass off.
I have not laughed that hard since watching the last episode of WKRP in Cincinnati, but
it was very
it was great.
Very funny. However, there was one part that I could not relate to, and it was how we were all walking around in fear because of COVID. I wasn't.
Me
Were you walking
neither.
around in fear? That was the only thing I didn't quite.
I was going to say, you can't relate to that, but you can relate to 30 minutes of his whole entire bit, which was about CPAP masks.
Oh, absolutely. The apnea shit? Fucking hilarious. Although I was like, well, he kind of did the apnea thing, but I can see him now hawking sleep apnea machines in the future. Well, he's going to be like the Wilford Brimley of CPAP machines.
And I understand what he was saying. People in California did freak the fuck out, but I think he was relaying how everybody in California was freaking out, but I also think he was setting up that first joke, which he had this great joke, and I don't want to give away all his stuff. But
and the crowd work with those jokes.
He was talking
fan-fucking-tastic.
He was talking about, like, after 2 months in, he's getting tired of wearing a mask, and he saw reports saying, if you have any, lung-related issues, that
breathing issues,
that you're free from wearing a mask. And so he went to a game or went somewhere, and he told the guy, he's like, hey man, I got a disability in my lungs. I don't have to wear a mask. The guy's like, really? What do you got? He's like, sleep apnea. He's like, sleep apnea? He's like, yeah.
What's that?
What's that? It's a condition with my lungs. I have a machine that helps me breathe at night, or I might die. So, my lungs are very sensitive. How does that work? No, it's a machine that gets air into my lungs. He's like, But how does the air get in your lung, Joe? He's like, because I got to wear a fucking mask, right? Fuck you. So the fact that he was using the one disease that requires you to sleep in a mask for 8 hours, the joke being that was his excuse of not why I can't wear a mask in public.
I tell you,
so well crafted.
The amount of people out there with sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, they're not all fat.
No, they're not. I'm sure I have it if I got tested. I snore like a banshee.
Do you dream? That's the number one question to ask. Do you remember your dreams?
I used to read it Word Up magazine. Yeah, I remember my dreams. I've been directing my dreams since I was a kid. My secret to falling asleep as a kid.
Dod's got the fucking.
No, seriously. When I was like, when I would have insomnia or whatever from a kid, or whether I was at mom's house or whatever, just dealing how I would get myself to fall asleep is I would basically start a scene. I would think about it like a movie scene or something.
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
And I would kickstart my dream.
Something.
So when I fall asleep, so I'd always direct my dreams, direct the scene, and that way hoping that it carries on into something. But
this is going to sound weird. You've never heard this one from me. One of the ways as a teenager that I could try to get myself to go to sleep, and maybe even late adolescent, is I was dreaming that I was in one of them, almost like an escape pod. And it was kind of like an alien situation.
Yep.
And shit's falling apart, and you're escaping, and then it's the hype. The sleeping. How they went to sleep, and that was kind of it. You just get myself, away from what's going on, and get the imagination running, and hopefully it was that way. You end up out in space drifting, and then you drift off. That was my method. Yeah, I should probably be committed.
I used to have weird dreams when I would sleep.
Oh,
this
after 7 hours, my dreams are haywire.
When I was a kid, this one would fucking sleep with his hand up in the air like this. Well, you fucking in class?
Because it felt good, man. It felt old enough like this.
Are you in...
And now for the What's in Your Head podcast TikTok lesson of the week.
Buckle up, Buttercups. Listen, if you're one of those glitter bitch, sparkle taco ass parents that let your kids identify as a cat or dog, can you please be a responsible pet owner and get your cat or dog spayed or neutered so we don't have any more of your genetics floating around in the gene pool? Thanks.
And this has been Deep
And
Thoughts
this
with
has
Ted
been
Nugent.
the What's in Your Head podcast TikTok lesson of the week.
You kind of sound like Ted Nugent. Ted
Yeah,
Nugget.
it's more of a PSA of the week, but
We don't have the production money to cut new imaging every time we do the slightest variation in a bit, so we have to stick with the old stuff. Before we get to news
and shit,
I need a weed eater.
You need a what?
A weed eater.
Weed?
Whacker.
Eater? Whacker.
Weed whacker.
Weed whacker. Remember the one we had growing up that had the big handle on it?
Yeah, I don't want to go down the whole story because I think we covered his last episode. My weed eater died, right? We're talking about disposable societies.
Did you pour out some pre-mixed 2-cycle fuel for it?
No, but F all you guys who didn't give me love for my pouring out some tea on the day of the Queen.
I got it, dude.
That
video really needed to be warm
up.
tea and probably Earl Grey.
I'm American. I don't have Earl Grey. I got fucking brown tea, and we like it. But that video I thought would get more love. But no, you guys.
Was that sweet tea or unsweetened iced tea?
That was sweet. That was unsweetened. It was in the refrigerator, so it's not okay.
Are you drinking unsweetened now?
I drink whatever. I mean, I drink black coffee every day. But oh shit! Oh yeah. So anyhow, I ventured down the Lowe's last week because Mike, you weren't here. Need a new weed eater. I figure I can take it to a place to get it fixed for about $80 plus parts. Or when I was in Lowe's 2 weeks ago, they had them brand new for $150. You decide what you would do. So I found myself standing at Lowe's this weekend, and lo and behold, all of the weed eaters were gone. Gone fucking gone, because last weekend on Labor Day they had a weed eater sale. So all the weed eaters.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how that works.
Nothing in there but like the freaking 12-inch made for short people.
We got the midget model over here. Oh, shit.
So I figure I head on down to Home Depot.
Depot?
Home Depot.
Are they owned by the same company as K. Roger?
I don't know. They might be.
Or Target?
But I'm down at Home Depot. And I walk into the weed eater section, and there's boxes and rows and displays and lights and signs.
You're like, sweet!
I'm like, ooh, I got options. And then I was like, wait a minute. Something's not right here in the Home Depot. Cast
they all like
eyes
a
at the
bright green color?
chainsaws. Cast my eyes at the leaf blowers. Cast my eyes at the weed trimmers.
Real quick question before you go any further. What color were they?
Colors of the rainbow. every model, every company, every brand. Home Depot has decided they have drawn a line in the fucking sand, and that line is gardening equipment must be powered by battery.
You talking about rare earth metals, heavy metal batteries?
Now, I'm a reasonable guy. And last week, because I care about my neighbors and how they feel about the appearance of my house and the weeds around the fucking house, because you got to mow your grass 3 times a week because it rains so fucking much.
Not the guy that grows corn in his front yard.
Not that guy, but this guy. So I reached out to my buddy Zach and said, hey, do you got a weed? I need a weeder. Blah, blah, blah.
And he said, sure. You're trying to use natural landscape.
Sweet.
Native.
So I stopped on the way to his house, on the way home from work, and picked up his weed eater. And this was before my trip to Lowe's. This is what leads to my opinion about what is happening at Home Depot. So prior to my trip to Lowe's and prior to my trip to Home Depot, I found myself borrowing Zach's weed eater, and it was battery operated. I said,
back of lunch.
This might be fun. Go out there and listen. Home Depot. Tell me you haven't mowed your own lawn without telling me you haven't mowed your own lawn. We're talking to the people who decide what to sell there.
They just use the guys that stand out in the parking lot to do that.
Battery-operated trimmers are just that. They're designed to trim a well-manicured yard when you're mowing it for the first time since last Saturday. Yes, they will trim grass, but they are not weed eaters. They're not weed fucking whackers. This thing did not touch the St. Augustine vines I got growing up beside my fucking house. So you saying
you need a handheld version of a bush hog?
I'm saying that 83% of their weed eaters in stock are battery powered. They're going full battery. They're like squeezing the 2-cycle shit out. And so the 2-cycle weed eaters they had in stock were like $230. Now I'm at the threshold again. Well, now it's cheaper for me to fix the one I already have. So I didn't buy anything, but it's like the battery ones, they are so underpowered that they have their own line.
Which is amazing because the electric motors can be so fucking powerful. They just put gas to shame.
Yeah, but I think
they have torque. They definitely have torque.
Not only that.
It's the high end, right? It's the RPMs that we got to worry about.
But as we know from,
there's some kind of clutching mechanism.
These are weed eaters and not laptops, so they haven't been designed for battery performance. And so they probably have to put less powerful motors in them to make them last for the amount of time it usually takes a person to mow a suburban yard. Because they just seem underpowered. I didn't even try to do a whole yard.
Basically a drill motor in there.
Yeah, and so it's like, I get a Home Depot, your residential base. I just hope that Lowe's continues to sell 2-stroke gas-powered fucking lawn weed eaters.
My question to you, Don.
Yes.
Does the local Harbor Freight have a Bauer version or a Predator version?
I'm sure they do, and I'm sure it's made out of fucking poured aluminum, and it weighs 838 pounds and comes with a sling.
It's a workout.
I bet that bitch comes with a sling.
Get that. Put your weighted vest on.
Remember the weed eaters of yore? Back when we were helping Robin mow her hill, they'd have the big ones with the sling and the freaking the front mount.
It's like being on a motorcycle.
Like using an electric wraith.
Yeah.
Yep. Those guys. Scythe. So please, just be warned if you're out buying a weed eater, if you need something just to trim grass because, well, you're punctual with mowing your yard and you don't live in Florida.
Down that hill, you're pretty properly fucked too. Goofy said it best.
News and shit. Now here's Gordon with some news and shit. Gordon, how you doing tonight, fella?
Doing our rate and probably not as well as the residents of Big Bone Lick, Kentucky. And Beaver Lick, Kentucky. Talking about Northern Kentucky, talking about nostalgia.
Yep.
We used to have to run. I would drive. This is before Don was able to drive, but I would get asked to go fetch some cigarettes, and this is when this store was still open. The Beaver Lick Trading Post.
I got you
kind
beat.
of a rundown looking shanty thing right on the corner of 42 and Big Bone, whatever the fuck that road's called, 665. I don't know.
No, 665 is outside Grove City, Ohio.
That's right. I get my.
I have you beat. You said you had to go to Beaver Lick to get cigarettes from Mom. I used to sit there during Mom's work shifts when she worked there. So
sucks to be you.
Literally spent time. I did time at Beaver Lick.
Well, because Beaver Lick Trading Post is back.
Outside of Big Bone, Kentucky.
Mom and pop shops have been replaced by big box stores, as we know, everywhere you go. But as southern Boone County expands and develops, I'm sorry. I hate to hear that. One couple is resurrecting an idea of a small town grocer. To some, the Beaver Lick Trading Post, which makes used to make great
Used
T-shirts,
to have a shirt,
is an old bait and tackle shop. I remember getting our worms there when we lived down at Twin Lakes.
I think when Dad caught that big ass catfish in Deer Creek, and I'm holding it up in the garage, I got my Beaver Lick Trading Post shirt on.
Yep. Or an old check-in station during hunting season. For years, the store had been vacant.
Yep.
I think it was pert near falling down until the trading post became a little more than a memory to the residents of Walton and Union, Kentucky. And Big Bone. Don't forget about Big Bone. That's actually an area. You see, that's where there's actually a cop had asked me about living down in Big Bone and sheep running scared. But
now, Gordon sent me a new photo of the Beaver Lick Trading Post. And I'll happily post it on the What's in Your Head podcast for this website so you can see the photo. But what I didn't tell Gordon when he sent me that photo is because I have the same computer. Up until a year ago, I've been running the same version of Windows, just upgraded since 1999. So I had to switch. But I still have all my files. I have photos of the defunct, closed, post-signed big Beaver Lick Trading Post. So I'm going to post both the defunct photo next to the new remastered
and that
photo.
was probably defunct 10 years before it even
that was
got looked
2000s, mid-2000s.
Well, one Mimi and Joe Bourne are changing that. Both entrepreneurs. She runs a healthy meal prep business called Mimi's Macros, and he operates a private contractor in the IT industry. So you got an IT guy. And you got a chef. The two were driving home from church one day when they spotted the old Beaver Lick Trading Post. They stopped and peered inside. We just couldn't believe what we were seeing. It was completely ready to go. Just needed stock, staffed, and point-of-sale system. So I thought it was run down and probably full of holes. Apparently.
Well, I think it had many a owner, but it's not exactly the best intersection. Well, now apparently it's getting better because of development, but it used to be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. He said that another couple purchased the store in 2018. The Trench Kemps bought the location with the intention of getting the store up and running. According to him, they said that they remodeled the store and it was ready to go, but life got in the way between daughters getting married, pandemic. Everything just got screwy. They couldn't do it. So Joe, being a native of Boone County like others, remembered the different phases the store has gone through, but more than anything, he knew that his neighbors desperately needed a store down there as a community resource. I could not I could not agree more.
I stole my first condoms from the Beaver Lick Trading Post.
Yeah, it looks like that boat sailed, huh? Joe is a native of Boone, blah, blah, blah. After closing the deal, Bourne said they originally planned to open the store in 6 weeks, but when they heard about the racing event at the nearby Florence Speedway, been there.
Dirt track, baby, dirt track.
They pushed the opening to 2 weeks.
Wow.
So he said he didn't sleep for 2 weeks. Tired but determined, the store opened in time with 3 retirees on staff. The Bourne said are absolute salvation. I wonder if these people actually worked there before. And then the store received an immediate response from the community. Bourne said they strive to be more than a convenience store with rocking chairs on the front porch.
That ain't the Beaver Lick I know.
And I think it's going to be better than ever. This
Mike,
is awesome.
This place had the old school utility style tub with the bubbler and the fucking minnow, the bluegill minnows.
I hope they kept that.
That's where we'd get all of our minnows to go fishing in the Ohio River.
So needless to say, they're trying to resurrect a small town grocery store. Most recently, the store celebrated getting a soft serve ice cream machine and receiving approval to serve fresh pizza. So they're doing some stuff. They're doing a breakfast.
I wonder who's going to pull up.
Is if you are a teacher and you live there, you get like free coffee.
Remember the building across the street, the Paul Bunyan place?
You talking about the
restaurant?
Pink Pig?
Well, it was also
kind of kitty corner from it.
Yeah, remember when we were a wee kid? It had like a 12-foot tall Paul Bunyan out in front of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody's probably going to buy that out if it's not empty.
Right.
Welcome to the Kentucky
So
Holler
on October
Memories
the 1st,
with
Beaver
Gordon
Lick Trading
and
Post
Don.
will have its first annual fall festival starting at 3 p.m. and lasting till 8. There will be a petting zoo, pony rides, food, hot apple cider, caramel apples. I know I'm from Kentucky and I should say caramel. Pumpkins and mums for sale. Mum's the word. Anyway, along with a variety of products from local vendors.
And
so I'm
a
wondering
new
if they will
stop
almost
is
even
just
do like a farmer's market down there,
Yep, and a new stop just got plotted from the Richwood to Rabbit Hash motorcycle run on every Saturday.
It'll be back.
Yep,
yeah, absolutely. So it's looking beautiful, and I think that's fantastic to hear. Their sign shows milk for $2.99. I wish I could find milk for $2.99. Attention! We got a problem. Hold on, I got to zoom in on the picture.
Attention! Danger, Will Robinson. Danger!
You're not gonna like this one.
I used to have a thing.
They got a firearms not permitted on the property sign on their window.
Does that sound like a dangerous? I don't have a danger.
So evidently, if you're open carrying in a constitutional carry state. Oh, by the way, I'm traveling to Montana here soon. Mm-hmm. And every state I'm traveling through that's outside of Nevada is a constitutional carry state.
Sweet. I'm surprised DeSantis hasn't pulled that trigger yet. He's too busy shipping migrants off the fucking...
Oh, man, they're trying to beat him up over it. But it's so funny. I was watching Peter
apparently
Doocy corner that stupid idiot they've got for a press reporter now, or press secretary now. And she just won't
budge.
Don't even understand, So it's they don't understand the concept. So you think it's okay for these states to take all these unlicensed, illegal immigrants, and then if they ship them, even if it may have been under false pretenses, and I still don't know if that's the case, to your neck of the woods, that's a no-go.
I don't know if it's damage control or just stories that the media won't cover, but I saw something somewhere, somebody's doing some voiceover work, who claims, allegedly, that not only were they not duped, they were given basically a disclaimer to sign, like in Spanish or whatever the native tongue was. We're sending you here, and they gave them a map of the city and like a list of phone numbers to call for services before taking them up there. So they weren't.
And then they're probably saying they probably misunderstood and thought it was, because this happens a lot. And if the people who get there to rescue you say, "Hey, say this," that'll get said. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about hypocrisy.
I thought we were talking politics.
We're continuing on, but this is a little different. This is in the business world. Fayetteville, Arkansas, coming in from the AP.
Arkansas.
An executive of the vegan food product company has been charged with felony battery and making terroristic threats after a fracas outside a football game, and where he's accused of biting a man's nose, according to officials. Beyond Meat Chief Operating Officer Doug Ramsey has been accused with road rage attack outside of Saturday's game between Arkansas Razorbacks and the Missouri State Bears in Fayetteville, Arkansas. According to the Fayetteville television station KNWA. That one don't work with WKRP.
Nope.
Wait a second. Fayetteville, Arkansas. I thought is that west of the Mississippi?
I think so.
Okay, because east of the Mississippi, everything begins with a W. A police reporter says that 53-year-old Fayetteville man attacked another man who tried to inch in front of him in the parking garage traffic lane and made contact with the wheel on Ramsey's sport utility vehicle. Police officers responding to the reported disturbance arrived to find two males with bloody faces, according to reports. After speaking with Ramsey, the guy who's a vegan, head of the vegan company, man
is this Beyond,
and other witnesses...
Is this Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger?
Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
Beyond a fucking nose, apparently.
Well, their stock's going down, too.
The officer determined that Ramsey had gotten out of his SUV and punched through the back windshield of the other car. This guy's angry because he's not eating any meat. Then the driver of the other vehicle said he emerged from his car and Ramsey pulled him in close and started punching his body. He also bit the owner's nose, ripping the flesh on the tip of his nose right off. The man and witnesses also reported hearing Ramsey threaten to kill the said man. Beyond Meat, well, they have not responded to messages from the station and the Associated Press seeking comment. Damage control time.
I'm not 100% sure it's Beyond Meat. I think it is. I remember hearing on, I think Rogan's podcast a couple weeks ago, he said Beyond, one of the two, either Impossible or Beyond Meat, but it sounds to me like Beyond Meat. Maybe that's why their CEO's going ape shit. Basically was found out of the two that one is the worst for your kidneys because all the seed oils they use in it. And so some information has got out about how bad that particular brand of fake meat is, and so their stock has been crashing, and he's been getting a lot of bad publicity. So maybe that's building up on him and causing him to get.
You want to live a vegan lifestyle, don't want to consume meat, but really don't care for your kidneys? Come on over to Beyond Meat
to make it look like blood. Remember when Dave and I tested that?
Yeah.
Dude.
Were those burgers cold by the time you tested them?
It didn't matter. We have the best Burger King in Cape Coral down here. Not saying much to Burger King, but the best one. Usually crispy fries and well assembled sandwiches, which is pretty much all you can ask for when you get fast food. I went down there and got a Beyond Burger with everything and cheese and a Whopper with everything and cheese. So basically the same exact burgers but different meat. I could smell the fucking thing when it got in my truck. So these commercials like, I can't tell. Bitch, you could smell the difference before you even put it in before you even unwrap the fucking wrapper.
What, bitch? That nose is linked to that fucking tongue.
It was so bad that Dave, I'm always hungry. Dave did not finish it. He took one bite and was done. Didn't want nothing to do with it. That's how bad of a fucking burger that thing was.
So
Gross.
last story of the evening. Coming out of Berlin, Germany.
Oh, yeah.
On the AP, German custom officials say, well, let me stop right there. If you're going to steal something, make sure that thing you stole
is less than the amount of money that would get you with a felony.
It doesn't leave evidence as you're stealing it, or a trail.
Or a wallet, perhaps.
German custom officials said a trail of slime led them to a stash of almost 100 giant African land snails and other hidden items inside bags at Dusseldorf. Their mustard's good, by the way. You should try it on your White Castles airport this month.
If it ain't Frank's, I don't bother.
Well, they don't have Frank's at White Castles.
Well,
They got Dusseldorf mustard.
what's the yellow mustard we grew up eating, the one that came in the fake barrel?
French's.
If it ain't French's, I don't bother.
In a statement Friday, authorities said officials stumbled over one of the snails on a baggage truck and initially thought it was a toy until it started moving. Well, that would be a little freaky. By following the trail left by this 20 centimeter, who is it calls? We need to use, freedom measurements here. 8-inch snail. They found a bag with a hole with another snail already peeping out of it.
What's up, fool?
Possibly preparing to, as they put, dash for freedom. I'm thinking slowly glide. In total, officials found 6 bags containing 93 giant snails, 62 pounds of fish and smoked meat, and a suitcase full of, top it off with some rotting meat.
So you didn't bother to put any ice packs in there?
I have no idea. All had been imported from Nigeria and were destined for an African goods store located in West Germany.
Cargo.
The snails were handed to the Animal Rescue Service in Dusseldorf, and the meats were destroyed, according to customs official. Never in the history of the Dusseldorf customs officials has a trail of slime led us to smuggled goods, according to its spokesman, Michael Walk. So, lesson to be learned, don't abscond with giant snails. You will be found out.
The last week I was in here praising the show that is It Cake?
Yes.
And your story reminded me of one thing of Is It Cake that made me sad, which is when you make your cake item that represents something, you get decoys. And yes, ironically, one girl did have to make a hunting decoy and had decoys. But anyhow, this person was making a cake that looked like a steak, complete with styrofoam and wrapping.
Bet it still tastes better than Beyond Meat.
The thing looked like a steak, but what saddened me as a red meat loving American is the decoy steaks were all real high quality cut steaks on styrofoam with saran wrap, and they're sitting on these pedestals in room temperature, and I'm just like, there's like $500 worth of fucking premium cut meats because they get stuff with all the marbling that looks good. Because on the show, the people who are guessing if it's real or not, they're like 15 feet away. They can't get in closer. And so they got the most defined, beautiful fucking 3-inch cut steaks with the marbling, and it's just like, I'm just thinking.
Sure, it wasn't they didn't go ahead and just use a stand-in fake steak from like the commercials?
They could have, because at a certain point when they're cutting up the real items, like they're saying that thing's a cash register, but it looks like it's made out of styrofoam. That don't fucking count.
Reason I say that is there is an episode I watched, I think it was one of the first ones where they did like milkshake and ice cream, and that ice cream and that milkshake never melted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
I hope it was fake steak because I was sad. I had some good ass meat. They're probably
steak?
thrown in a
Hope it was
dumpster after
steak.
this episode.
So, Mike, what you got going on over there?
Oh, I'm
Sort of blabbing.
staring at rifles.
Ooh.
Nothing wrong with that.
Ooh.
You seen the new military rifle adopted by the Army?
I did not.
It is not a 5.56. Hold on just one second.
No, they changed. They went to a different chamber, didn't they?
Yes. And it is made by Wnyh Se4, which is interesting. I know a lot of people who have traded in, have like gotten rid of Glock for SIG.
Yeah.
But it is called an XM5 rifle. It will, and then there's the XM250 light machine gun, which replaces the M4/M16 rifle and the 249 light machine gun. What's interesting, it is the round is a 6.8 by 51 SIG hybrid ammunition that has a lot higher pressure and actually requires a steel alloy bottom so it doesn't blow out.
This thing looks like...
And it holds less. I think it's like a 20-round magazine. It's heavier.
It still looks like an AR platform.
Oh, yeah. You can't... That's such a...
It has to.
Yeah. It has to. I mean, it's a functional platform. I know you got your AK guys out there who'll argue the other way, but it's a nice-looking rifle. It almost looks like a blend between an AR and a
ACR.
SCAR.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It with the receiver and the rail, it looks like the upper is damn near like a ACR or was it not the SCAR, but the ACR or the other version that both had the same body type.
The round's also known as a 277 SIG Fury.
Because that's the man.
And they just put this into service this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got the sideways collapsible stock on it, so you can sling it, use it like a pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
That's
I'm just sitting here staring at new rifles and stuff like that, with the way the world is going these days. You never know.
Looking at getting a new handgun, something a little smaller, still in the SIG category, probably a P365.
Do you guys believe
XL.
in the theory of the Simpsons predicting the future?
Well, Joe Biden's supposed to die this year if that's the case.
Well, because if so, an EMP is supposed to go off in 3 days. So just putting that out there in the world.
Oh, that'll be when I'm on the...
But Mike's looking at rifles.
I am looking at rifles.
Oh, I thought you had a story you were trying to get into that we could.
I just, in particular with...
Yeah, at least he's not looking at RVs.
The way that the world is going these days, it's like, I finally got my concealed weapons permit.
Ooh, congratulations. I wish
you need to update yours, don't you, Don?
I got another year. We have a little bit of time. I've been wanting to talk to somebody. You probably don't apply because you were in the military. But I'll still ask you, when you get your concealed carry, the first time you carried in public concealed, did you feel naughty? Did you feel like you were doing something bad?
A little bit.
Did you feel like everybody was watching you?
No, I didn't feel that way. But I did kind of
try
feel
open carrying for the first time when you first.
Well, see, the reason
everybody is watching you.
Well, the reason I say watching you is because, as you guys know, I carry a sticky holster, and so when I get in and out of my car, I have a quick action which I have to perform in order to add or remove my firearm before I leave the vicinity of my car.
Glad that I live in still a free state where I don't have to worry about that.
And so when I first started, I was always concerned everybody's watching me. They're going to see.
Nobody fucking pays attention.
Well, that's my
More
point.
than 3 feet from their fucking.
That's my
feet.
point. Once you get a firearm and you're going through that feeling of paranoia because all your life you've been told people with guns in public are bad, and so you feel like when the first time you got high and everybody's they know, man.
Except everything's legal and above board.
They know, and then you realize. No one has situational. No one's watching me. I could be walking through here, not even concealing it, and no one just completely not. They're just oblivious.
The one thing when you first start carrying concealed too, that you must avoid because I think everybody is touching it, making sure it's secure, making sure it's where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting because I went to
don't touch it in public. Don't touch your tool in public.
I went to Universal over the weekend, and
now you got the problem of where you secure it while you're fucking in there.
I was in the hotel.
Oh, okay.
And I had it. I didn't have it on me at all times. But I left the hotel and I would go into the truck and we would go, meander around town or whatever. And I had it on my side, and I was in the elevator. And the one thing that stuck with me over the weekend about that was these people have no idea.
Yep. They don't know they're in the presence of a certified forklift operator.
If shit goes sideways, you got the upper hand, right?
Yeah.
So,
and that's the TikTok that I did. That
tool of choice.
My preferred tool of choice is the only one that I have currently. So it's a Kel-Tec PF9 9mm. Nothing special. I've had it for, God, how long have I had that? Like 8 or 9 years.
Oh, there you go.
And I bought it up in North Carolina at a little shitty little gun store, and
them's the best one.
Traded in a 12 gauge Remington 870 Express shotgun for it.
Even Steven?
Huh?
Damn near even?
Close. I still had to.
I was going to say, for a shotgun, you
I'm left-handed.
Rob that guy.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so there aren't too many left-handed holsters out there that you can buy for a Kel-Tec PF9.
Sticky holster, baby.
Until I recently got one, so I had to buy an ambidextrous holster. It was all Velcro and it was very uncomfortable and all that. So I just kind of threw that away. But almost even, I ended up having to pay like an extra $150 with including the holster and the ammunition.
Oh, that's nothing.
So,
yeah, it's good. I like the stickies too, but I prefer knowing that there is a positive click and that holster is not coming off. So I carry a SIG P320X carry. It does not have a trigger safety. It does not have a backstrap safety. It's
he wants to shoot himself in the dick right there, I'll tell you.
So I want to make sure. Now I bought and it's got a optic on it. You want to talk about a cheat code? The problem with optics is you got to practice so you can pick up that dot right away.
No, the problem with optics is it shows you how bad your fucking handshake. You're like, Jesus Christ.
No. Optics do not show you your handshake. That's a laser.
Oh, I thought you meant laser. Yeah, a laser. Like, holy shit, am I having a fucking
this
diabetic meltdown?
It is a little SIG Romeo 1 Pro red dot that's made for the gun, so I didn't even have to sight it in.
Does that get in your... Do you ever accidentally... Well, no, I guess you wouldn't. How does... Is the holster notched to accommodate the red dot, or is the red dot enclosed inside the holster?
It's notched, and then so I had a.
Now, hold on. I'm trying to be semi-vague about this for your own. The whole reason I have concealed carry is to.
So right here, this is a We the People outside the holster. Waistband holster, you see the notch here, right?
Yeah, but that goes inside of your draw. So, or is that open carry?
This is my open carry, but it's basically the same thing.
Even more to my point.
Carry, but with this is a little different. And it's made
since it's open carry, more to my point, because concealed carry probably wouldn't be much of a problem. Have you accidentally palmed that fucking red dot, that big ass platter sticking off the top of your gun? You haven't snagged it on something?
Nope.
Cool.
Because the red dot sticks up. The red dot sticks up above your waist, above your belt.
I know, but I'm just saying, going for your pocket or reaching for something, you just that fucking extra flat protrusion out of there.
Not to give it too much away, I carry it more like the 8-9 o'clock position.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of back a little, and then it's canted forward.
Yeah.
But the problem with you can maybe able to see it on this. I don't know. The problem with the We the People holster have is you see that there's a little indentation right here.
Yeah, for the trigger guard.
That's what grabs the trigger guard. Now, I'm changing back to a QVO holster, which is made locally. It's thicker. And this is the one for my XDS. And it actually encapsulates the whole entire trigger guard. So it's a thicker Kydex. This one's actually wrapped in Cordura. And it is a positive click. And you see, this has got 4 screws for retention. We the People, including internal, only has 1.
Gotcha.
And I've tightened that one down so hard, and I'll go to pick it up, and it'll want to slide right out of the holster when it's loaded.
Yeah, I'd get
I'm
rid
like,
of the holster.
No good. So it sits at home now until my 6-week lead time QVO comes in, because he custom makes everything.
See, I've got We the People too. I got because that was one of the few companies. I mean, they're cheap, but that was one of the few companies that actually made a holster, and especially a polymer holster that actually is custom fit for that gun.
Yep. And they're also a local Vegas company. But the QVO, you pay probably twice as much, but it is it is twice the quality.
Yeah.
So, and it's got, what's cool is, and my other one's going to have that too, it's got this little wing on it right here. This will push against your belt and actually push your handle into your side a little more to help eliminate some of that printing.
Right.
So.
And on that note, this has been Video Audio Pod. For those of you listening at home, go watch the video so you can see what we're talking about. But we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us for another episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. If you want to support the What's in Your Head podcast, please go to whatsinyourhead.com, click on the Patreon link, sign up, subscribe. It'll cost you $1 a month. It'll go a long way to help keep the lights on around here. And while you're there, click on the social media link, and that'll take you to our YouTube channels and all of our social media pages. Please like and follow us on YouTube. Mike, where can people find you?
All of my platforms are at TYPB Mike. You can find me at tackleyourpersonalbest.com. That is where our podcast is for everything fishing. YouTube, TYPB Mike, all that fun stuff.
And Gordon, where can people find you?
You can find me at GDA1011 on Instagram. I have changed my handle. And then
he said handle. He's old.
It's so old.
Yeah, I changed my handle over now.
And then, anything you do on Facebook, you go through the What's in Your Head deal. I'll link up there. I have a public profile page, but it keeps disappearing for some reason.
Yep.
Probably because I don't ever use it.
This has been a Digital 410 production.